I want to be a doctor. I said that. Okay, I said musician, superstar. Okay, a few times engineer, pilot, until I discovered I was afraid of heights. And if you had parents like mine, you had to say lawyer, architecture, all the cool stuff to show that they're paying school fees for a reason. It's only fair to encourage them, right? So I'm a people person. I re-energize with crowds. So medicine was not a very difficult choice to make. But nobody prepared me for emotions. You see, I grew up in a setup where chills for who? We don't do chills. You say something, you ask a question, you get a response. That's how I grew up. Very few moments of, oh, I'm so sorry. I got very few of those. But then I went to medical school, and you meet people, in campus, and the first thing they ask you, so what are you taking in campus? And I say, medicine. They're like, hey, you like being in the mortuary, right? That wasn't me. For starters, I am your atypical doctor. I do not enjoy mortuary presence. I do not enjoy blood, or rather, I did not at the time. And so when they'd say, we are having a ward round, and a wound that is oozing was uncovered, I was always caught halfway fainting. That was my life, medical school for most of it. In fact, the first time I saw a mother deliver, I actually fainted. I did not watch the full episode of that. Needless to say, no one thought I'd make much of a doctor, right? I mean, can you imagine you've come to deliver and I faint as I help you? Just think about it for a moment, that your doctor is gone for a while. They will wake up when you're done. So that was me. I was never the typical, strong, happy to walk around in what, quote unquote, messy scenario. I was a weird doctor. I was sure I was going to make a weird doctor. I mean, I turned out to be I'm a crier. Like, I can cry. So just picture again, you're very sick, and I tell you, I'm so sorry. You're so sick. And that was going to be me in every way. I was going to be a messed up doctor because I am emotional. But then again, nobody taught, medical school is books, and that I knew, right? I knew you lose your social life. I was prepared. I was prepared to put in the time, the hours. I wasn't ready for emotions. So fast forward to work, and I begin working, and I'm supposed to use emotions. So I'll paint a picture for you. So on one side, your patient is recovering, and they're doing very well. So you're very happy, right? And you're telling the relatives, we are doing well, this is the progress. Then on the other hand, you lose a patient. For me, that was just extreme. I had to invest emotions. My title is Emotions for Who? I was not ready. Nobody taught me, prepared me. Nothing could have told you. I mean, results came out the other day, KCP, right? So what are they saying? When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. In my time, there was a book called Think Big. You read it. And Gifted Hands, right? So we used to add and say, I want to be a neurosurgeon until I saw the brain and realized we are not on the same level with Ben Carson. But my journey has been one of learning, relearning, learning how to tell one mother that you've just lost your baby, and learning to tell a couple that has been trying for years that you're expecting a baby. A whole difference of emotions. It has been extreme. I have refused to get used to it. I have refused to say it's just work. I have refused to say all in a day's work. 2 years ago, a mother walks in. I remember her name, her age, where she lived. I actually even remember her husband's name. She came in to deliver, did not progress, and a decision for a cesarean section was made. Went to theater. She recovered, got the baby. We got the baby pretty easy. She was taken to the ward. And while there, she complicated. And the nurses called out. Okay, being called by someone because someone is in need, we are used to it, right? All the mothers in this room can explain how they have thrown their children at us when their child is convulsing. You never throw good babies at us. I don't know what's wrong with you. But sick ones, you just throw, and then you take off, and then you come back. So that I was used to. And when we went to review, the mother said, "Where is my child?" And I actually told her, your child is right here, but we are attending to you first. And she said, "Call her father." And, in that moment, I'm thinking, your life first, right? So we continue. But in the process, she said, "Daktari, call my husband." And I knew something was going to go wrong. We lost her. I've never forgotten. The thought of, how do I explain to a husband that your wife has just died and you'll be a single father of 2 children now, and the only thing your wife had was pregnancy? How do you do that? How do you do it and still, proceed and help the next woman deliver? It wasn't easy. A few years ago, my brother went out with his friends and he was attacked by thugs. And in the process, sustained some head injury. And he needed a brain surgery, so it was done. But you're a good doctor until you become a relative to a patient. And in that moment, I just wanted everyone to do their job. He eats a lot of food, so I wanted the person bringing food to bring his food, right? Okay, 2 plates. I needed the person who cleans to actually clean. It was not until that moment that I realized the use for each and every person in a hospital, that I just want everyone to do their job. I would like the doctors to actually come and do the ward round. I'd like the electricity to be there, right? At least the bathrooms to be clean as well. Those were just basics. And so it got me thinking, so what kind of a doctor was I making? And if I was to be anything close to what I wanted for my brother, I had to be an emotional person. I had to have conversations with relatives where I actually tell you the truth, but then I'm also kind to you. So I started having conversations with people and having conversations with my patients and their relatives. And I realized all we want is to be told and to be heard. That's it. As a relative to a sick patient, you just want to be told what's going on, and you want someone to listen to what you have to say. All right, you crucify us all the time, and you say, "I went to the doctor, and the doctor was just writing." Okay, half the time we know what's wrong. Give us some credit. Because you get better and you don't come back. In fact, you're well enough to riot on Facebook, okay? So you're fine, and it's okay. But I also learned the value of just looking at you and touching you. Have you gone to a doctor and told them your back hurts and they don't look at your back? Right? It's good to be looked at. It's good to be touched. It's good to be heard. And so I began having such conversations with people. I understood that I may not change everyone, but I can have conversations with you. I also realized that very young female doctors are not very accepted. A while back, a doctor was crucified for wearing heels. Yes, at work. How can you wear heels at work? How? As you can see, I'm not falling off. I'm just fine, right? But we got a lot of that. I have had patients walk right past me in search of a doctor because there's a male nurse next to me who's wearing a lab coat, and that's probably the doctor, only to be turned back and I also look back. We've had that. We have, in an era where More girls are getting educated. You're getting more girls out of school. But you know what? You want the older ones, right? The ones with white hair, right? You trust them more, isn't it? Yes? You tend to give them more opportunities to speak to you and to actually treat you. We feel that. We see it. I can see the doubt on your face when you walk into the room. Where is the doctor coming in? At what point will he come in? Perhaps an older he, right? Now, it's not very easy being a female. Okay, it's good to say young, female, emotional doctor. I mean, it's easier to be a model. It's the place for curvy girls, right? Yes? It's the place for lighter girls, right? We have a place we've positioned women. We have put a ceiling to what they can do. It's needless to say that a few months ago, during the menstruation day, the newspaper pullout only had men talking about the policy around menstruation. Do you remember? Did you see that? Was I the only one who found it weird that they know so much about our, than we could contribute? Yet there are women in these places. What am I saying to you? That there is a place for young people, young women, emotional doctors. We exist. We are there. We know what we are doing, surprise, surprise. And we actually do care about you. We went to school to take care of you. And we have no point to prove. We are just getting our work done. Social media is the next big thing. Okay, aside the slay queens and the works, you can actually get very good things going on social media. Kilimani Mums has become where we write all we are disgruntled about, right? Okay, not you, your friends, then you just spread the screenshots. It's okay. But could we use it as a way to actually communicate what good is going on in our country? What is the issue affecting policy? The woman that I lost, the lady that I lost, she actually died because there was not enough blood in the hospital. And not only in the facility that I work at, in all the hospitals in Nairobi. Who donates blood? Serikali's idea. We say that a lot. But who actually must donate blood? It is you and I, because we are healthy, we are okay. I will continue speaking about young doctors, young female doctors, young female emotional doctors. But there's a place for you as well in our public health sector. There's a role for you to play. Thank you.